And we welcome you back to the program. Yesterday was the regular monthly meeting of Third Laguna Hills Mutual. Hopefully some of you folks had a chance to catch it on TV. But joining us today, we have the current president of Third Mutual, Mr. Mike Straziuso. We also have, sounds like Godfather 3. I just get out and they pull me back in. Mark Schneider is with us, former president of Third Mutual. Welcome to you, Mark. Good to have you back on the show as well today. Good morning. So lots going on in Third Mutual. The board runs by rules and regulations and new proposed rule changes.
Yes, our new attorney, the current attorney, Kelly Richardson, and Kelly has a tremendous amount of experience with homeowner associations. Unlike our previous attorney, whose clientele was very small in the homeowner association arena. And Kelly has now attended our meetings for a couple of months, and he's saying to us, guys, you're working too hard. We can streamline this and get the same things accomplished. For instance, he has introduced a new concept to us. If you have 6 or more board members at a meeting, it's a board meeting, and the business that you conduct in that meeting should be enforced, should be final, and you don't have to rehash it in the monthly board meeting.
And I know you have several committees of the whole, which in theory would be your entire directorship, all your board members. So not that they all come to all of those meetings, but they could. And they're invited, and so those meetings, you should have a majority there, and again, those will pass, and then we won't see them coming up at the monthly meeting.
What a concept.
What a concept, that's great. You know, for the last, 12 years now, this community of Laguna Woods has now been part of a city. Laguna Woods is Laguna Woods Village, now part of Laguna Woods, and one of the things that they did when they came in was to say, you know, we've got some things we can help you folks with in the village, and one of those, Mark remembers those days well, I'm sure. They said, we're going to do all these things for you. And one of the things was take over some of the lighting responsibility in the interest of public safety. They want to kind of renegotiate that now.
Well, yes. Not that they want to give us the lights. The underlying issue is the cost, monthly cost of $1,000. Well, it's $1,000 a week, $52,000 a year. For the power. And they don't think that that should be an open-ended arrangement, and they're trying to formalize it with an amendment to the agreement. And it's suggested, somewhere between 5 and 10 years, that it could be renewable at that time, but in return, we want a couple of things. So we're sitting at the negotiating table and discussing how to amend that agreement.
And that'll always be interesting, I'm sure, to have those discussions. One of the things that was sort of a shock to the board last year, and you're dealing with it still this year, in the painting process, you came across a lot more dry rot. Some of the big beams and all had some issues that you really weren't aware of. So you're having to play catch up and fund those. You have to propose a little extra money to help deal with that problem.
A little extra money?
A little extra. Well, it's all relative. You know what Everett Dirksen used to say, a billion here and a billion there, eventually it adds up to being a lot of money. So.
Well, it's not $1 billion, but how about $500,000?
Yeah.
That was authorized yesterday. And the amazing part about it, and it's very personal for me because it involved the building that I live in. We neglected to fund the next phase, and the crew has been down for almost a month waiting for the board to authorize the next phase, which we did yesterday. And when I left the building, guess what? They were there getting started.
Aha. No dust gathering on that one. Well, that's an important, unfortunately, you have to spend the money, but obviously it's important structurally and safety-wise. This community prides itself so much on the recycling that's gone on for years and years. The green waste has all gotten chopped up and made into mulch, and you see it around the community. You also see it at the garden centers. The gardeners love that free mulch. That's a great deal for them. But one of the areas that recycling has really taken off is in the new blue bins, recycling at the recycling areas. And of course, folks with individual homes in Third have curbside recycling going on as well. Now we're talking about phasing out part of that process, and that's the newspaper bins. The black newspaper bins. Now that's been a source of income for some time. They're on the discussion cycle right now.
Well, the blue bins pickup is an expense.
Uh-huh.
And we failed, not failed, but it's part of the discussion.
Right.
And if it's $9 a month to pick up a black bin, a newspaper recycling bin, and the revenue is down, and they gave us a 10-year analysis, and there are years where it was income and years where it was an expense. And what has triggered it is giving us the blue bins in the LH21 buildings in Third. Those blue bins have been introduced in the trash room.
Right.
And there isn't enough room for the black bin, and the doors don't close all the way. And I believe there is an implied welcome sign to the rodents because the doors don't close, and the people in the LH21, well, the black bins, what can we do with we can put the paper in the blue bins. Mm-hmm. But if we do that, we don't get income from it.
But some years you haven't anyway.
Yes.
So it's one of those decisions the board has to make along the way. Mr. Schneider is with us today, and we welcome him back. He former president of Third Mutual in between times at the pool, and good to have you back with us today. You're chairing a group of folks that are doing something that's maybe relatively new. It's been a few years now. It used to be that we had what was called the nominating committees. Nominating committee would interview residents interested in running for the board, and they would come up with a slate. Here's 6 or 7 or 8 folks who we think would be good board members based on the fact that the committee members are board members or have been board members in the past. That changed a few years ago when the law changed and self-nomination became a reality. So now we still have the committee, but we call it the Candidate Information Committee. Different responsibilities to some extent.
Yes, it is, Rob. I'm here this morning to talk a little bit about that, at least to kick the can and get things started. We've had a couple of meetings. Let me first of all mention my name is Mark Schneider. My telephone number is 949-587-1598, and people can call me, and it is a self-nominating process. We will hold hands with people and take them through that process, or they can do it themselves. We are an independent agency, and as Mike will tell you, I'm pretty independent. We have no favorites, play no favorites. We're just gathering information, and we're out there telling all the people some advantages of volunteering. And so let me say a couple of sentences about volunteerism. I've been doing this for, as you know, more than a decade in one way or another, and ultimately on the boards and all those kind of things. It's one of the most satisfying things you can think about in retirement is giving a little bit of yourself back to the community and so forth. I'd like to encourage everybody that's interested to do that. And if they so choose, they can call me and I will put them in touch with somebody that will take them through the process. We're also looking into having information posted at all of the clubhouses because we can post flyers, and we'll try and get all the telephone numbers up there. Just give us a call and we'll take you through the process, and I won't go through the process and bore you with it now, but there is some paperwork involved and things like that. So.
And one of the things that people will see coming up as we get close to that election time is a televised program that we'll cover here, Meet the Candidates. And the various folks who are choosing to run for the board will have a chance to give a little speech. And unlike the presidential debates, it won't be a debate, but it'll be a chance to answer some questions and let the folks out at home know a little bit more about where these folks stand on the issues, how they want to help Third Mutual. So helps people to be a little bit better informed, I think, as voters. So how many do we need? What kind of turnover are you going to be having this year?
3. Since we're 11, and they're 3-year terms. We have 4, 4, and 3, and this year is the 3.
Okay.
And the 3 cycling terms that expire.
Okay.
I almost said cycling off. Terms that expire would be Carol Moore, Lucy Scheiman, and Richard Palmer.
Mm-hmm. Now, I understand there are opportunities for people to run for a second term. Have these folks all had a second term?
No, Richard and Lucy have not. Carol has. So Carol, the term is termed out. She cannot run for another year.
Right. And the other two could, if they choose to, seek a second term.
Yes, they certainly could. In fact, contrary to our policy, Lucy announced that she and Richard, on this program, announced that she and Richard plan to run.
Right. But again, if anybody else is interested in running, Mark wants to talk to them, and
Yes.
Your committee and your group can help them out. And many of the folks, most of you on that committee have been on the board, so you kind of can say, here's the reality, here's what kind of workload you're looking at, and here's some of the things you'll need to know. You know, it's always interesting, having worked here for a few years, to see the range of backgrounds that we have in this community. We have all, I mean, we do have rocket science here. You know, we do have people that have worked for major corporations. We also have people that have run their own business or managed their own household. So we've got wide expertise, and you don't have to have a specific job qualification to run for the board. Really, the board needs to have a cross-section, kind of like a jury. You know, you're supposed to be tried by a cross-section of your peers. You know, your community should be managed by a cross-section of the people that live in Third Mutual. So a good time to think about that.
Yes, my experience personally is running my own business for 33 years. And
Right.
when I view what we're discussing, I think of it in terms of point of view as,
Right.
as a business.
Right.
Is it feasible? Is it economical? Is
Yeah.
And the amazing dilemma that I have when we get into the debates, everyone on the board believes they have the best interest
Sure.
of the community.
Sure.
And I believe they're all sincere, even though we have differing opinions.
Right, right. Well, if everybody agreed on everything, it wouldn't be good television, and we like it to be good television as well. We like a little bit of disagreement from time to time. Gentlemen, we're out of time. We thank you both for joining us today. Folks, if you missed that meeting, you can catch a replay tomorrow, Thursday, and that'll be coming up tomorrow at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon, and then a final replay next Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock as well. If you missed out that phone number, I think our front office, I think Mark will leave his phone number with our front office on the way out, and you can always check with the folks in the general manager's office as well to give you some help on getting ready for the board. Gentlemen, we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good to
you,
have you
Rob.
both on the show today. We'll be right back with more news, more guests, as our Wednesday program continues for you right here on Channel 6 TV.